This next lesson in 1.4 is to identify and use properties of real numbers, which you have already been doing on a regular basis, but now we're just going to be going over the actual key terms of those properties. These are all the key terms that you have seen before. If you wish to write these down, you can. You do not have to. It would be a good idea to have at least an example of the properties like so. When we're talking about commutative property, that's basically saying that's for only addition and multiplication, that 5 plus 2 is the same thing as 2 plus 5. Same thing with multiplication. 5 times 2 is the same thing as 2 times 5. And we have the associative properties that saying it doesn't matter the order that we add numbers as long as it is addition or subtraction, because we will still get the same result. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 2 plus 1. And 1 times 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2 times 1. Then we look below at the identity properties. The identity properties would be for addition, any number plus 0 is still going to be that number. For multiplication, any number times 1 is still going to be that number. Zero property of multiplication means any number times 0 will always be 0. And multiplication property of -1 is any number times -1 will give me negative or opposite of that number. Again, you don't have to write all these down, but it is something good to reference back on. And the reason I have you write those down is so that you can use them as a reference. So for this first question, it's asking, what is the property? Well, I know it's multiplication because I see that it's multiplying. And since I am multiplying and getting the same number by 1, I'm going to say that's the identity property of multiplication. So I'm going to put multiplication and identity. And for B, I know it's adding, so I'm going to put addition. And it looks like it's just changed the order. So that would be my associative property of addition. So the next two problems is using mental math. So a movie ticket costs $7.75, a drink costs $2.40, and popcorn costs $1.25. What is the total cost of the ticket? Well, if I use my mental math, I know I have to add up all of these three numbers. The other thing I also know is that it's easier to add quarters than it is to add with dimes. So I'm first going to add these two together because I know through the associative property of addition that it doesn't matter the order that I add numbers. So 175 plus 1, or 775 plus 125 would give me $9. So now I have 9 plus 240. Now I can add 9 plus 2 is going to give me 11, so I know it'll cost $11.40. You should pause this and try to do this next mental math by yourself. So here I am multiplying my answers. 3 tennis balls are in 4 cans. 4 cans holds 6 boxes. And how many would be in 10 cases? So I have to multiply those all together. And I would get 720 balls, tennis balls. So here I'm just simplifying. And like I said, you've already started doing this by yourself, but this is just using the properties. So if I'm going to simplify this first one, I can always multiply however in any order and I'm still going to get the same answer. So I know that 5 and 3 are both whole numbers, so I'm going to multiply those together and get 15n. And that would be simplifying for that. When I have adding, again, it does not matter the order, and 4 and 8 are like terms. So I'm going to combine like terms to get 12 plus 7b, and that would be my final answer. And for C, I could rewrite this so it says 6x times y over y. It's the same thing as what's written above. It's just easily to see that y over y is going to be equal to 1. So now 6x times 1 is just going to give me 6x. You should pause the video and try to simplify each expression below. And here are the answers to those three problems. First, I multiplied 2.1 times 4.5 and got 9.45. For the second problem, I combined 6 and 3 to get 9. And for the last problem, I did 2 steps. These m's cancel each other out because that's like having 1. And I also simplified 8 over 12 to get 2 divided by 3m. And my last problem is, tell me if these problems are true or false. And if it's false, then I want a counterexample. So it says that a times b is going to be the same thing as b plus a. Well, if I remember back from that first slide that I showed you, I didn't have anything that was multiplying on one side and adding on the other. So I think this is false. So I'm just going to pick 2 numbers. Let's say a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 3. So 2 times 3 would give me 6, and it's telling me that will be equal to 3 plus 2, which is 5, which is false. So this would be a counter example, basically finding something that would make it false. For b, all real numbers, a plus b plus c would be the same thing as b plus a plus c. Well, I know this is true because this is one of our properties. It's the associative property of addition. So you could find any 3 numbers, and it does not matter the order that you add them up. They will always give you the same answer. So make sure to fill out your Google Doc form and submit for your homework. Have a wonderful day.